In this class, we will see the lesser sac of peritoneum. Greater sac of peritoneum we have seen already in the previous class. Lesser sac, otherwise called as omental bursa. It's a diverticulum of greater sac and it is situated behind the stomach and even extends beyond the stomach. Why it is called as omental bursa? Because it allows the expansion of the stomach as if like a bursa. So with this we will start this lesser sac of peritoneum. As you have seen in this image, lesser sac is indicated in this as the blue color. So this lesser sac extends behind the stomach and even beyond the stomach. You see it is closed on all sides except at the epiploic foramen, through which it communicates with the greater sac. So that is the situation of the lesser sac and the other name of the lesser sac. Now we will see the shape of the lesser sac. Outline of the sac resembles somewhat an empty hot water bag. In the previous years they used to use hot water bag. So like that this lesser sac shape resembles, but in the hot water bag usually it will be at the opening of the bag will be at the top. Here opening of the sac is situated at its right margin. What is that opening? Epiploic foramen. So that is the shape of the lesser sac. So we have seen the situation, other name and the shape of the lesser sac. Now we will see the boundaries of the lesser sac. Boundaries of the lesser sac, it presents anterior wall, posterior wall, four margins, upper, lower and right margin. So in first we will see the anterior wall of the lesser sac. So you see carefully this image. So this depicts clearly the anterior wall of the lesser sac from above downwards. So from above downwards, that is the liver, peritoneum covering the caudate lobe and caudate process of the liver. So that is the first anterior wall. Next is the posterior layer of the lesser omentum. So you are seeing in this posterior wall of the layer of the lesser omentum. Then it is behind the stomach. So what is that next wall is peritoneum covering the postero-inferior surface of the stomach and the adjoining surface of the proximal half of the first part of the duodenum. The fourth is the second layer of the anterior sheet of the greater omentum. So if you see in this picture from above downwards, liver, lesser omentum, that is postero-inferior surface of stomach, you should see it, visualize it in this image. Then the greater omentum, second layer. So all they form the anterior wall of the lesser sac. Posterior wall of the lesser sac from below upwards. So in this you can see this below upwards, that is the third layer of the posterior sheet of the greater omentum. Then the peritoneum covering the antero-superior surface of the transverse colon, upper layer of the transverse mesocolon, then the peritoneum covering the anterior surface of the body of the pancreas, part of the left suprarenal gland and left kidney, splenic and celiac vessels, under surface of the diaphragm, including its left crus. So, what are all these? If you recollect your stomach class, all these form the stomach bed. So, that is behind the stomach. So, what will be the posterior wall? What are the structures in the stomach bed? They will form the posterior wall of the lesser sac. In this, mainly the body of the pancreas is shown clearly to show the posterior wall of the lesser sac. So this is the anterior wall. We have covered the posterior wall. Now upper margin and lower margin. Upper margin is formed by the reflection of the peritoneum from the diaphragm to the upper end of the caudate lobe of the liver and extends from the, so in this you can see the upper margin clearly. Upper margin is from the diaphragm, you see the uppermost part of that green colored, that is the lesser sac. So it is formed by the reflection of peritoneum from the diaphragm to the upper end of the caudate lobe of the liver and extends from the groove or inferior vena cava to the cardiac end of the stomach. So that is the upper margin. Lower margin in newborn, it corresponds with the lower margin of the greater omentum. After puberty, we have seen already in the greater sac class, second and third layers of the greater omentum are fused. Hence, lesser sac does not usually extend below the transverse colon. So we have finished anterior wall, posterior wall, upper margin and lower margin. Now we will see in this right margin and left margin. So in this image, otherwise we will go to the previous and we will see the right margin and the left margin. Yes, we will see in this image right margin. Below the transverse colon, right margins corresponds with the, so you just see from below upwards, right side you see. Below the transverse colon, it corresponds with the right free margin of the greater omentum. So below the stomach, so in the greater, behind the greater omentum, you can see the transverse colon. So greater omentum is attached to between the stomach and the transverse colon. So that between this, what is that right margin is the right free margin of the greater omentum. Between this, you just now see between transverse colon and first part of the duodenum, right margin is formed by the reflection of peritoneum from neck of the pancreas to the posterior surface of the first part of the duodenum. Between duodenum and liver, do you see any margin or it is deficient? Yes, it is deficient and presents epiploic foramen through which the lesser sac communicates with the hepatorenal pouch of the greater sac. So we have seen already in the previous class what are the boundaries of the epiploic foramen and what is its importance. So now above the epiploic foramen, right margin is formed by the peritoneal reflection of the from the diaphragm to the right margin of the caudate lobe. So we have completed the right margin. Now you try to see in the same image, left side, left margin. Left margin below the transverse colon, it corresponds with the left free margin of the greater omentum. Between the transverse colon and cardiac end of the stomach, you can see what ligament is present. Gastrosplenic, inner layer of gastrosplenic ligament and also lienorenal ligaments passing over the hilum of the spleen. Above the cardiac end of the stomach, it will be by the gastrophrenic ligament, which is not shown clearly in the image. So with this diagram or image, you have to understand the right margin and left margin of the lesser sac of the peritoneum. To understand the right wall, anterior wall and posterior wall, you can use this picture also. From above downwards, you have to see anterior wall from caudate lobe, peritoneum covering the caudate lobe and caudate process of the liver, posterior layer of lesser momentum. So you now just see the blue color, front blue color. Then peritoneum covering the postero-inferior surface of the stomach. Then the second layer of the anterior sheet of the greater omentum. Posterior wall, now you see the back blue color from below upwards. Third layer of the posterior sheet of greater omentum. Peritoneum covering the anterosuperior surface of the transverse colon. Then upper layer of the transverse mesocolon and peritoneum covering the anterior surface of the body of the pancreas. So with this also you can understand the anterior wall and posterior wall of the lesser sac. So we have completed the boundaries of the lesser sac with so many images, because it is somewhat a difficult topic. You have to visualize the lesser sac and you have to see so many extensions and margins. So now we have completed the boundaries of the lesser sac of peritoneum. Now we will see the interior of the lesser sac of the peritoneum. So now you try to see the interior of the lesser sac. Lesser sac is encroached on by two sickle shaped peritoneal folds. Are you seeing two folds inside the lesser sac? They are known as the superior and inferior gastropancreatic folds, or right and left. So there's superior gastropancreatic fold, you can see, that is directed downwards and to the right, that is formed by the arching of the left gastric artery. Inferior gastropancreatic fold, that is directed upwards and to the left, and it is formed by the hepatic artery. So superior gastropancreatic fold is otherwise called as left gastropancreatic fold. In this it is, I think this image, the uppermost is the left but it is marked as right. So that is the left gastropancreatic fold, that is formed by the left gastric artery, and inferior gastropancreatic fold is called as, otherwise called right gastropancreatic fold, that is the lower fold which is formed by the hepatic artery. So when both these gastropancreatic folds meet at their ends, between them there is an aperture known as foramen bursa omonti majoris. So there is a foramen. It is in the bursa omonti. That is the omental bursa. So that is that name. This foramen, if you see, divides this lesser sac into some parts of the lesser sac. Upper part is known as the superior recess. So are you seeing upper part, superior recess, and a lower part known as, that is the inferior recess or the main omental bursa, that is omental bursa proper. A splenic recess of lesser sac extends into the hilum of the spleen. So now we have completed the interior of the lesser sac. There are two folds, left gastropancreatic fold or the superior gastropancreatic fold formed by the left hepatic artery. Inferior gastropancreatic fold or the right gastropancreatic fold formed by the hepatic artery. This divides the interior into superior recess. Inferior recess is otherwise called omental bursa proper. There is another recess, that is the splenic recess. So this completes the interior of the lesser sac. To add a note on the development of the lesser sac, we have seen in the development of the stomach. So when the stomach rotates to the 90-degree anti-clockwise, that is the main cause of the formation of the lesser sac. That is omental bursa proper is developed from the invagination of the dorsal mesogastrium downwards and to the left side during the rotation of the stomach. That is the omental bursa proper development. Then what is this superior recess? It is developed from the right pneumoenteric recess. So we have completed this lesser sac, situation, boundaries, anterior wall, posterior wall, upper margin, lower margin, right margin and left margin, and also the interior of the lesser sac of peritoneum in detail. And we have added a note on the development of the lesser sac also. I think you have understood this lesser sac of peritoneum clearly, so that this may be asked as the short notes for the first MBBS students. So the remaining peritoneum we will continue with the next class.